Hey, this is Ken with mymathassistant.com. I just wanted to give you a quick tour of the parent dashboard so you can see some of the reports and settings that are available to you. So here you can see a list of the students on this account and the books that they're currently using. There are a couple of shortcuts here. You can quickly log into their account by clicking this button. You can edit their name and password here. You can add a new book to their account. And then there are the reports and settings buttons over here. So I'm going to click the reports button on the Math 7-6 book here. And so here is a list of all of the assignments that Joe has done. You can see he's done all the way through lesson 63. And you can see we started doing the facts practice around lesson 11 because that's when I introduced it to my math assistant. And you can see the scores he's getting on all the facts practice. You can see the scores he's getting on the lessons themselves. There's the ability to reset a lesson. I can manually set the grade if I need to change the score for some reason. So those are a few of the little action buttons you can do there. There are also some yellow print buttons that give you some printable reports for either the lesson details itself or for the entire report of all the lessons. You can click on an individual lesson. So let's go to lesson, let's say 13. So here you can see the exact facts practice questions that they missed, what their answer was, the correct answer. Are there any questions they need help with or that I need to grade manually? And then here are all the questions on the lesson. And you can see if they got them correct or incorrect, how many attempts it took them on each one. So this one took him 7 attempts. I might look at that with him even though he got it right because I want to understand why it took him that many attempts. If we go back, I'd also like to just briefly show the concept mastery report. This is a report that kind of grows as they do more lessons. As your student finishes more lessons, there will be more data available here. But basically, like if I slide this filter down to say 50%, this will show me the lesson concepts that my child might be struggling with. For example, lesson 45, there have been 23 review problems from lesson 45, and the student has only gotten them correct 8 times out of 23 on the first try. So that shows me, okay, they're kind of struggling with whatever lesson 45 taught. So we might open the book to lesson 45, kind of review that, maybe give them a few extra practice problems myself and just see if there is anything going on that he's not understanding. So that's the value of that report, and you can kind of adjust the slider up and down. There are a lot of settings. It can maybe even be overwhelming, but my goal is to make this as flexible as possible because everyone uses, math in their homes differently. So here are some of the things you can do. The review problems, you can only do the odds or the evens or alternating odds and evens, or you can do all the questions. So you can see for this student, I have it set to do the alternating odds and evens. You can skip the warm-up or the lesson practice or the mixed practice, depending on what you're wanting to do. If you don't want to do the investigations or the tests in My Math Assistant, you can skip those. And then you can skip the facts practice. Actually, it's turned off by default. So you'll want to come in here and uncheck this if you want to use the facts practice. And that just gives them a built-in routine of practicing their math facts. You can set a maximum number of questions on each lesson in case you don't want them to always... if sometimes 100 questions is overwhelming, you could say, well, I don't want them to ever do more than 50, for example. You can also track the time. So I have that turned off because my kids seem to find that stressful to have the timer running. If you give your student a custom set of questions on each lesson, then you can check this box, and that allows your student to mark a lesson complete whenever they're finished with the questions you've assigned to them. And that will calculate their score based on only the questions that they've actually attempted. So that's the value of that option. Scoring options allow you to give your students a limited number of attempts on each question. You can set it higher or lower. It also allows you to decide if they get full credit or half credit or no credit for correcting a question that they originally missed. And then there are different settings for lessons and tests. So you can see for the student, I give them infinite retries on lessons because that's practice in my mind. But multiple choice questions, I don't want them to have infinite retries because they'll just guess, potentially. On tests, I allow them to have 1 extra retry, no extra retries on multiple choice questions, and then I give them half credit for fixing it. So that's just how I have it set up, but you can set it up however you'd like. The Assignments tab gives you the option of adding or removing assignments to their dashboard. The student can do this themselves, so this isn't a super important tab any longer. And then the Facts Practice tab, allows you to customize exactly which facts practice they're going to work on every lesson. So if my student needs more help with a particular math fact set, then I can add that in a bunch of extra times, or I can take out ones that they're strong at. It also gives you just a quick number of how many problems they're getting right out of 100 on each of the kinds of facts practice that they've worked on. So you can see I've got a custom facts practice here. I want my child to work on multiplication facts from 1 to 15. So far he's getting 97% of them correct. That's great. If I select one of these other ones, you can see there are some other scores here. And so if I see one that's a little bit lower, I might add those. I might add that set in a couple extra times to get him some more practice on that. And that is the end of the settings. So you can see there's a lot of settings. If you have any questions about the settings or the reports, please go to mymathsystem.com, hit the contact button, and send me a question. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks.